What's going on, team? Coach Steve here again, and today we're going to talk about tempo runs. So you may hear these referred to as lactate threshold runs or acidosis threshold runs, or even just threshold runs sometimes. But they're commonly referred to, it's all kind of tempo runs, right? That's the easy expression. So basically, I want you guys to kind of understand what these are and what they're supposed to do for us. So if you remember a week or two ago, when I was talking about speed work, I had started talking a little bit about, hey, there's aerobic speed work and there's anaerobic speed work. Well, just to kind of get back to some of that terminology again, aerobic means with oxygen, anaerobic means without oxygen. So I want you to imagine like a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 100 or whatever, and say, hey, for most of the work that we're going to do, we're going to consider it to be aerobic. We're building endurance, and oxygen, is, plenty. Oxygen will kind of be our main kind of source of energy there. We're doing that. Well, at some point, the intensity gets high enough to where the oxygen's not enough, and we got to kind of go to plan B, and that's where we kind of start to refer to that exercise as being anaerobic, right? Well, so when I say a tempo run or a threshold run, really what we're trying to do is we're trying to push our intensity level right about to the point where the exercise is difficult, but it's still aerobic work, right? We want to get right up to that point, and we want to try to hold the intensity there or the workload there as long as we can at that level, right? And that's where we start to get some real quality kind of high-end aerobic work, right? So the reason I kind of explain all that to you is I want you to understand why we're doing what we're doing, and then what today's work looks like, right? So you'll typically see tempo runs become more and more important for folks that are training for races that are a little bit longer, right? Because there's just going to be more time to spend in that lactate threshold kind of zone, or in that tempo zone, right? There's not a ton of it with shorter stuff, but you still see it come up in 5K and 10K programs, but probably more prevalent, maybe some half marathons and marathons and stuff like that. So anyway, so what I'd like to do today with the workout is I want to do a 3 or 4, depending on kind of how much you have in the gas tank here, 3 or 4 times 1 mile repeats, right? So they don't have to be on a track. If you're around your neighborhood, you got a activity tracker or something that can kind of tell you that ballpark distance. I'd like you to take a warm up for about a mile, easy pace, just get some blood flowing. And then, like I said, we're going to do 3 1 mile repeats, or if you feel like you can get 4, let's get 4 1 mile repeats. And we're going to take about a minute or two, which is a pretty short rest, only a minute or two between each mile, right? If you can jog that rest, that's even great. That's even better, or you can walk it. But so basically, you're going to warm up for a mile. You're going to run a mile at this kind of tempo pace, which I'll talk a little bit about here in a second. And then you're going to have a minute or two down, and we're going to do that 3 or 4 times, and then you got a mile cool down. So again, that tempo pace for most of us is about 15 to 20 seconds slower than your 5K race pace time kind of per mile, right? So that'll give you an idea. Again, going back to the intensity, it's usually about 85% intensity. If you're not 100% sure what that is, if you're a Stride member and you're familiar with some of the language that we use in studio, this pace is kind of right below that level 3 pace, right? So it's more intense. It's faster than our kind of long runs that we're doing, and our recovery runs, definitely faster than that, but you're not all out sprinting. This is a pace that is comfortably hard. You should be, close to being breathless with this intensity. These are fun workouts because we start to crank them up. You hear me talk a lot about not too fast. Hey, we got long run, keep it slow. Recovery run, keep it slow. Well, speed work and tempo runs are fun because you get to just start stretching it out and going a little bit faster at this point. If you are following one of our kind of introductory programs, you've got a 25 to a 35 minute kind of long walk run today. So what I'd like you to do is stay with that schedule. I don't want you to stray from that and try to get a tempo run in. We're still kind of building aerobic capacity on those programs, trying to get that endurance up and strong, and then we'll, there's plenty of time down the road for tempo workouts, whether it be mile repeats or even longer. But I'd like you to stay with your program. If you're on one of those programs, stay with what that lists. And for the folks that are intermediate or advanced and your program calls for tempo work, let's have some fun with these. These workouts are a little bit more difficult, but that's okay. Like I said the other day, you get stronger by doing things that are difficult, and I know you guys are getting stronger. We're in the meat of our program right now, so good luck with your training. Again, tempo runs are not easy, but they make you really strong, and you feel it right away. So I appreciate you guys' time. As always, let me know if you have any questions. I'll put these details that I went through with a little caption today, but enjoy your mile repeats, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.